Whether The Chosen is a faithful representation of the Bible has been an ongoing debate since the beginning of the show. Those who watch The Chosen sometimes complained about the amount of artistic liberties taken, while some others noted the absence of significant events like the baptism of Jesus. Most recently, the absence of another, perhaps even more important scene has been noticed by many. The Transfiguration is what I'm referring to. You might be wondering if we're ever going to see it in the future seasons of the show. The answer would be no, as Dallas Jenkins believes it doesn't have an importance in the story they are telling with The Chosen. I know, controversial, right? Let's see what Dallas exactly said about this and why he thinks this way. As I mentioned, Dallas and the writing team already attracted criticism for not including the baptism of Jesus. I remember Dallas putting that event in a category of biblical moments he didn't think he could do well enough. It's understandable that Dallas is being careful with portraying the supernatural on screen, but that doesn't change the fact that people want to see the biggest moments of Jesus' life as told in the Gospels on the screen. And that includes the Transfiguration. Normally in the Gospels, the Transfiguration of Jesus follows Peter's proclamation and precedes the raising of Lazarus. Ideally, the Transfiguration should have been depicted in Season 4 of The Chosen, as the raising of Lazarus already took place in Episode 7. So perhaps you're expecting to see the Transfiguration as a flashback scene in Season 5. Well, Dallas already shut the door on that one. In a Facebook post, fans wrote about wanting Dallas to include the Transfiguration in The Chosen since they believed it to be a crucial part of Jesus' story. Dallas responded with this shocking comment. People keep saying the Transfiguration would be an important scene, and I'm confused as to why. What purpose would it serve our story? Dallas talked more about this during an interview, and I will show that clip to you in a minute, but I really want to hear your thoughts on this. What did Dallas mean when he said what purpose the Transfiguration would serve the story on the show? Considering the show is about the lives of the apostles as much as the life of Jesus, I don't understand how Dallas would miss the opportunity to show a major event that impacted and changed the lives of men like Big James, Peter, and John who were present for the Transfiguration. Also, the Transfiguration is very important as it reveals Jesus in full divinity, which in turn is meant to console Peter, Big James, and John and strengthen them during his coming passion and death. And the fact that Moses and Elijah joined Jesus at that moment shows the fulfillment of the messianic prophecy. Let's see Dallas further explain his reasons for not including the Transfiguration. He was a guest on Against the Current at The Chosen podcast where he talked about the issue.
He mentions the Transfiguration scene, and I still have no plans to do that. Certainly not in the way that the Bible describes it, meaning we wouldn't change anything, of course, but we wouldn't. I'm just not the notion of trying to do a scene where Jesus's face is glowing and then you see this. It just feels very Return of the Jedi to me, and I'm just it would. I'll just say this: it would take a lot to convince me to do that scene, and I can't imagine it, and it's not in our plans. So I'll just I'll make that. And I'm not just saying that to throw people off the set.
So it looks like the main problem Dallas has is not wanting to show Jesus with all the lights in a spectacle. For a show that focused on the human side of Jesus much more than anything, I get it, but it is disappointing to see Dallas not grasping the significance of the event when he said it would look out of place or something to that effect. It doesn't have to be that way on the show, neither was it like that in the Bible. Do you agree? I feel like Dallas is having a hard time visualizing the way the Transfiguration could look on the screen and may need help from other people who have a vision for it. If he can manage to pull off the walking on water moment, he can certainly manage the Transfiguration. The Season 3 finale did show that The Chosen is ready for big moments and has the budget to sprinkle in a major moment if it wants to. But the problem is not only Dallas's opinions about how the scene would look like, it's also about him believing the Transfiguration does not hold an important place in the story, let's say, as much as the raising of Lazarus. In the same interview, right after he talked about not wanting to do the Transfiguration, Dallas mentioned the raising of Lazarus and how that is vital to the story. Watch.
We're obviously, I don't think it's a spoiler to tell you we're probably going to be covering Lazarus, because it's a vital part of the story. Jesus raised Lazarus from the dead. He allowed Lazarus to die. Like he could have healed him before he
Yeah.
died. He allowed him to die so that he could raise him in front of people and prove God's glory. And for the sake of the disciples, for the sake of the people watching, and for the sake of his enemies, who, because of the resurrection, that was the official, like, all right, that's it. No more messing around. He's got to go. And so that's an important part of the story. So we're for sure obviously going to cover that. But there's not another, there aren't big, huge miracles that we would need to do for the sake of the story.
So, in the story that Dallas has in his mind, the raising of Lazarus is more important than the Transfiguration. I guess he thinks it is more crucial for the story that follows, meaning that the raising of Lazarus causing the religious leaders to consider Jesus to be a bigger threat, but still, why not show both? Is there still a chance for us to see the Transfiguration as a flashback scene? Maybe, because Dallas previously had said he wouldn't do the walking on water scene either, but he decided to do it and pulled it off perfectly. So perhaps one of his co-writers can convince him to include the event as a flashback and we will get it as a surprise. It is a tiny chance, but still, fingers crossed. If you want to know about the actual storylines that are confirmed for season 5, check out this video.